What if the life you're experiencing right now isn't happening to you? What if it's actually revealing you? Every pattern, every struggle, every relationship, every result in your life may be showing you something about yourself that you cannot yet see. Most people spend their lives trying to change the world around them. But what if the real source of change isn't out there? What if reality is simply reflecting a deeper part of you? We've got a lot to talk about. Hello everyone, this is Kevlan, and in today's video you can see there's a little chart here and some drawings. So basically I wanted to talk about reality and our external reality, and actually what is reality and how we create our reality, how we create our life. So I came up with a little drawing, a little visual, so for you to better understand what I'm trying to say. So it might be completely new to you, the way I'm going to show you what is reality, and if so, just come with an open mind. Or maybe you've heard of that before and it's just a refresher or different ways of looking at it. But in any ways, I really want you to understand what is reality, because it's very important to understand what it means to be human, what we're capable of doing as human beings, and how we are actually the creator or the co-creator of our reality, or the architect of our life. So on that side, I created a little visual of the mechanics of basically reality or manifestation. So at the top, you can see the all-seeing eyes, and I know some people will say, oh, it's part of the secret society, or no, I can tell you I'm not part of the secret society. This is just symbolism, and this is a mystical symbol that is describing consciousness, or the eye seeing all. By consciousness, it means the creator of everything. So that's what you are. And I know some people may think that their brain is creating their consciousness, but I'm sorry to tell you that your brain is not creating consciousness. Your consciousness is non-local, doesn't belong to the brain. Your consciousness is a signal outside of your physical body. And if you want to better understand this, I invite you to check out some of my videos that will be seeing in the screen, where I dive a little bit deeper on why, using science, on why reality or consciousness is not part of the brain. But anyway, so for this video, this is where it starts. So this is what you are. Before looking at this physical body, this is what you are. Everything in this universe is conscious. Everything is basically consciousness. Everything stems from consciousness. So that's what you are initially. You are pure consciousness. Now, consciousness cannot be experienced if there's nothing but consciousness. So consciousness needs a medium, as I like to call it, or an instrument or a channel, so that consciousness can actually experience itself in this 3D reality, or in a frequency band. And what is this instrument? This instrument is basically our mind. So consciousness is going to be using our mind, or is using our mind to basically, as a medium, to basically project reality. And what I mean by as a medium or as a channel, just imagine that you can just see the mind as binocular. You know, you want to look at how you can see reality on the other side of the binocular. So you're going to be using binocular and looking in the binocular. So the binocular is your mind. It's just the instrument projecting reality, or where you're going to be able to see reality from the other side. And this is neutral. So the mind is not here to say this is good or this is bad. This is just neutral. Based on the mind is just the instrument. Nothing is just a projector. Is what is going to be projecting your 3D reality. So consciousness is observing reality through the mind, through the lens of the mind. Now, the mind is neutral, but then it's going to go through a filter first. So as consciousness is observing reality through the mind, it's going to go through a filter. And the filter is what I call your state of being. I'm going to be talking about that a little bit later, but that's your state of being. So how you feel, how you think, what you believe, everything is based on your state of being. So that will be the filter on what you're going to be seeing on the other side of the filter. And the filter, you can imagine, if you have binocular, and then you have those sometimes little glasses with different color. You can put a green glass on the other side of the binocular, and then you're going to be seeing the world, a green world or a red world or a blue world. So that's the filter. That's why it's going to project, or that's how you're going to be able to see reality. So it's based on that filter. And then on the other side is going to be a 3D projection. So it's basically your life. Everything you see, you perceive with your five senses is just a projection of consciousness that is going through that mechanics. So going through the mind of the instrument to observe the reality or to project reality. And then there's a filter on how the reality is going to be projected based on the filter, based on the frequency of the filter. And then it's going to project reality. So this is a 3D projection. We can call it a hologram or holographic expression. So this world, as you can see and perceive it, is just a hologram or projection of the mind and through the observation of consciousness. And that's why you may have heard the double slit experiment, and in quantum physics there is more and more science, more and more paper talking about how consciousness is actually behind everything, and consciousness is the one projecting reality. So your consciousness is observing through the mind, and the mind will be projecting your 3D reality, and your 3D reality will be projected based on the filter. So now let's talk about the filter. The filter, as I said, is your state of being. So I'm sorry to tell you, but if you still believe that you're just flesh and bones, think again. You're not just flesh and bones. We have what we call around us an energy body, an energy field, or an electromagnetic field. This has been, it's not a myth, it's not a legend. This has been recorded, this has been actually detected, and we can actually detect that using sophisticated instruments, and we can measure the field that we have around us. And this field, and apparently I'm not very good at drawing torus, but this is a torus field. So this field, this energy field that we have around us, the energy body, as it's been called for thousands of years, forms the torus. And I'm not going to talk about the dynamics of manifestation in particular, but the fact that it is forming a torus, that's how we manifest our reality from the point of oneness. The point of oneness, and in the torus, and I will also put the torus in the screen so that you see what I mean by a torus, because apparently I'm not good at drawing torus. But the center of the torus is what it's called in science, the singularity. And for us as human beings, it's the heart. So everything stems from the heart, the point of oneness, which is directly connected to our heart. And then create this torus where the information about who we are, how we feel, so our state of being will be shared directly with the point of oneness. So now, our energy field records everything that you are. So all your thoughts are recorded in your energy field. All your emotions are recorded in your energy field. All your belief system are recorded in your energy field. And again, this is your conscious and subconscious or unconscious part of who you are. So everything about yourself, about your state of being, is recorded in your energy field. And that's why I always say there is no cheating. You cannot fake the filter. You cannot cheat with the filter. You can't fake it, because everything is recorded in your energy field. So you can sometimes say something, but think differently. You can't lie. Everything is recorded in your energy field. So the way you are, conscious and unconscious, is going to determine your filter. So this filter is basically what is going to be how reality is going to be projected. So reality, as I said, the 3D projection, your life, is going to be projected based on the filter, which is based on the frequency of your state of being. That's why we say, and a lot of people have been saying more and more, we don't attract what we want, we attract who we are, because everything is based on that filter. So everything you believe about yourself, everything you believe about the world, every thought that you have that will make who you are, every emotion that you feel that will make who you are, will be recorded. And based on this information, reality is going to be projected. So it's really, and that's why I like to say, no one can change your life but yourself, because you are the one observing, you are this consciousness observing it, and you're the one, through this dynamic, this mechanics, going to project your reality. So no one can change this but yourself. Now, the world can influence the filter, and that's what we can see. Since we were born, we've been told a story about ourselves. We've been told a story of what it means to be human, what we're capable of doing, what's possible, what's not possible, we've been told a story about survival. It's, we are just this physical being. We need to be better than others. We need to survive. We live in a world that is with limited resources, so we always in a like mindset because we need, and as a result of this, we need to be better than others. We need to compete. We need to compare. So all of this story is obviously affecting the filter because it's going to be affected how you the way you are, how you think, how you feel, what you believe. Everything will be recorded there. So the external world can influence the filter, but the external world can't influence this, cannot change this, because this is you through the observation of your consciousness, through the mind. You're going to project this. But again, this projection can be altered, can be modified based on the filter, and the external world can affect this. And that's what happened for thousands of years, where the world told us a story in order to change or in order to mold or shape the filter in a certain way so that we project the world not based on what we want, but based on what they want. So they told us a story so that they can influence the filter, and so that we can project their reality instead of ours. So really, that's what I said here. The external world can influence the filters. Now, transformation is really about reclaiming your life by reclaiming the filter. Because this happens automatically. You don't need to do anything. But as I say, many times, manifestation is our natural state of being. We don't need to do anything to manifest. We don't need to think. We don't need to change our mindset. We don't need to do anything to manifest. This happens every single second automatically. This is just a natural process of creation. So everything happens automatically. However, what we need to reclaim is we need to reclaim our filter. We need to reclaim our state of being. We need to reclaim who we are, who we truly are, so that then we can project what we want, what our consciousness, or we even call it our soul, want, instead of the way we've been influenced to think about ourselves, and change the filter so that our life will be a projection of whatever we've heard about, whatever we've been told about ourselves. So really, transformation is about really reclaiming this filter, reclaiming your state of being and changing your state of being, and going through conscious and unconscious part of who you are, so that you can change this and make sure by changing this, you're going to automatically change this. So we don't need to force, if you want to change your life, you don't have to force anything external. If you really want to change your life, you need to work on the filter, because that's what is reality created from. The reality is created from the filter. So you need to reshape that filter. You need to take ownership of the filter, ownership of yourself, sovereignty, ownership of who you are as human being, and what frequency you want to sense, what frequency you want to carry and hold, so that you can reclaim your life. And what's the first step to reclaim that filter? If, as I said here, we have all the information about yourself is recorded, and there's no cheating, you cannot fake it, is recorded in your energy field. And this information is conscious and unconscious. So obviously the unconscious part of who you are, which is, by the way, according to neuroscience, we're talking about 90% of who you are is unconscious, and 10% of who you are is conscious. So how can you actually get information about your unconscious so that you can start, taking that back and changing it to create what you want? The best way to look at the information that is stored in your unconscious is to look at this. Look at the projection. Look at the screen. Look at what is projected. If you don't like what is projected, if you're going through struggle, if you're going through challenges, if there is patterns in your life that keep repeating over and over and over again, no matter what you're trying to do, all of this is indication that there is something in the filter that you need to change. So the best way to know your unconscious part of yourself is to look at your life, and to look at your life as the observer. Don't be absorbed by it. Just take a step back and look at your life honestly. Look at whatever you're attracting easily and whatever you struggle to attract. Look at those experiences, those patterns that keep repeating themselves over and over again. And all of this, by looking at your life as the observer, as this consciousness observing it, by looking at this, you're going to be getting indications on what is unconscious in the filter that you need to change. So again, the external world is just a feedback. The external world, the 3D projection, is just a feedback of your filter. Because again, the filter contains unconscious and conscious part of yourself. And the majority of the filters are unconscious. So the best way to know that, again, is to look at your life as the observer and start taking a step back and seeing it as a feedback for yourself, seeing it as messages for yourself. If there is something you don't like in your life, you struggle with, then you need to work on this. So that's really the first step I said, is about self-awareness. Developing this self-awareness about yourself, developing this self-awareness about who you are, and really starting to live your life as the observer. Now, if you want to know more and you don't know where to start with self-awareness, I have a free guide you can download, and I put the link down below in the description. So it's basically a guide that will give you some reflections, some exercises, some insights about how you can start living your life, how you can start increasing that self-awareness so that you can have more indications and more insight about the filter that you need to change to finally get a projection and get a life that you truly desire with your heart. So it's free. Just go into the description down below. There is a link. Click on the link, and you're gonna see a pop-up. You just put your email address, and then you're gonna receive that guide by email. In addition to that, if you need help with transformation, you don't know where to start, because again, self-awareness is the first phase of transformation, but it doesn't stop there. Once we start to identify the unconscious patterns in the filter that are affecting the 3D projection, then we need to start changing them. We need to start releasing them. And that's why I created this 21-day transformation program, where you can actually, when we're going to be working together, and it's really safe basis online, where I'm going to be guiding you in a structured way. There is a very structured roadmap and different phase I use, the self-awareness phase, and then the healing, the reprogramming, and then the conscious manifestation, where you can have this filter matching the life, the consciousness your heart truly desires, so that you can live that life and feel that fulfillment, feel that joy, feel that happiness, and reconnect with your true authentic self. If this content resonates with you, please subscribe to my channel, like the video, send that video to your family, to your friends, to whoever needs to see this or needs to hear and have a better understanding of who they are, what it means to be human, and what they're capable of. Also, I would love to hear from you. If you send me a comment where you're from, and also if you have any questions about that specific content, if you want me to clarify anything in future videos, I would love to hear from you. So send me a comment and I will respond to all of them. In the meantime, stay conscious, stay aware. Until next time.